Are you stuck in a cycle of mediocrity, watching others succeed while you remain frozen in place? Your potential lies dormant, waiting for the moment you decide to ignore the distractions and channel all your energy inward. When you commit to self-improvement and relentless effort, the impossible becomes achievable. The world doesn't reward half measures or excuses. It rewards those who push beyond comfort and convenience. Every day you hesitate is another opportunity lost forever. The difference between where you are and where you could be is determined by one thing: your willingness to focus on yourself and work harder than you ever thought possible. In few moments, you will learn. Master self-focus and relentless effort to transform ordinary ambitions into extraordinary achievements, while others dream the power of self-focus. Your greatest asset in this world isn't your connections, your inheritance, or even your education. It's your unwavering focus on personal growth. When you dedicate yourself completely to self-improvement, the universe conspires to help you succeed. Think about this deeply. Every moment spent worrying about others' progress is a moment stolen from your own journey. The principle of self-mastery begins with directing your mental energy inward rather than outward. Roger Bannister, who in his time was told repeatedly that breaking the 4-minute mile was physically impossible. While others debated its possibility, he simply focused on his own training, his own mind, and his own capabilities. He didn't concern himself with what critics were saying or what competitors were doing. His singular focus was on pushing his own limitations. And when he finally broke that barrier, he didn't just achieve a personal victory, he shattered a psychological barrier for all of humanity. You possess the same ability to transcend limitations through focused effort. The moment you decide to concentrate on your own journey rather than comparing yourself to others, you liberate tremendous mental energy that can be channeled into productive work. Remember this truth: self-focus isn't selfishness. It's the recognition that your greatest contribution to the world comes through maximizing your own potential. 2. Defining your definite major purpose. Every significant achievement throughout history began with clarity of purpose. Without this guiding light, we drift through life, responding to whatever demands our immediate attention, mistaking motion for progress. Your definite major purpose serves as the organizing principle for your entire existence. That consuming desire that aligns your thoughts, emotions, and actions toward a unified goal. Have you defined your purpose with absolute clarity? Can you articulate in a single sentence what you believe you were placed on this earth to accomplish? This clarity isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. The precision with which you define your purpose directly influences the impact of your efforts. John Wooden's remarkable legacy, his unprecedented success as a coach, wasn't built on scattered talents, but on unwavering certainty about his mission. Long before championship banners hung from rafters, he had crystallized his purpose to develop not just skilled athletes, but men of exceptional character who would contribute meaningfully to society. Your purpose must meet 3 critical criteria to generate transformative power. First, it must be specific. Vague aspirations produce vague results. Second, it must be measurable so you can track your progress. Finally, it requires a definite timeline to create productive tension and urgency. Once defined, your purpose must become part of your daily consciousness. Write it down. Review it upon waking and before sleeping. Let it penetrate your subconscious mind until it becomes as natural as breathing. This constant reinforcement programs your mind to recognize opportunities that others miss. The true power of a clear purpose lies in its ability to simplify decision-making. When faced with choices, you need only ask, does this align with my purpose? This single question eliminates distractions and allows you to decline opportunities that, while potentially valuable, would divert energy from your primary mission. This focused approach creates a concentration of effort that transforms how you experience obstacles. What appears as insurmountable barriers to the unfocused mind becomes merely another stepping stone on your path. Purpose provides the perspective to see setbacks as valuable feedback rather than failures. And most successful individuals throughout history understood this principle. Their achievements weren't the result of superior talent, but superior focus, a laser-like concentration of energy directed by unwavering purpose. When your efforts align with your deepest values and aspirations, you tap into reserves of energy and creativity that remain dormant in those drifting through life. Take time today to define or refine your purpose. Ask yourself what truly matters to you, what contribution you wish to make, and what legacy you hope to leave. Then distill these reflections into a single powerful statement that can guide your daily actions. Remember, a life without clear purpose may achieve comfort, but never greatness. Your purpose awaits your recognition. Define it, embrace it, and watch as it transforms not just what you accomplish, but who you become. 3. The discipline of daily habits. Your life as it exists today represents the accumulated result of your habits. These consistent, often unconscious behaviors shape your future more powerfully than momentary flashes of motivation ever could. True achievement isn't born from occasional heroic efforts, but emerges through the quiet power of disciplined daily action. The quality of your life directly reflects the quality of your habits. Wilma Rudolph. As a child, polio had severely damaged her left leg, leaving medical professionals doubtful she would ever walk normally. Yet Rudolph developed an unyielding habit of daily therapeutic exercises. Her transformation from a child wearing leg braces to becoming the world's fastest woman winning 3 Olympic gold medals wasn't accomplished through sporadic bursts of effort. Instead, her extraordinary success was built in those unseen moments of consistent practice when no cameras were rolling and no crowds were cheering. The power of habits lies in their compound effect. Just as interest compounds in financial investments, small behavioral improvements accumulate into life-changing outcomes when performed consistently over time. What might seem insignificant in isolation, reading 10 pages daily, practicing a skill for 15 minutes, or maintaining a brief morning ritual, transforms into remarkable progress when sustained across months and years. Your habits operate as a double-edged sword. Positive habits create an upward spiral of improvement, while negative patterns silently undermine your potential. Most concerning are the unconscious habits you've developed without deliberate choice. These automated behaviors may be sabotaging your deepest aspirations without your awareness. This reality demands honest self-examination. Review your daily routines with unflinching scrutiny. Which habits are advancing you toward your goals, and which are subtly pulling you away? Begin your transformation by identifying one positive habit you can implement immediately. The size of this habit matters far less than your unwavering commitment to its daily practice. Perhaps you'll choose to wake 30 minutes earlier, drink water before reaching for coffee, read 10 pages of a meaningful book, or exercise briefly before showering. Select something so manageable that you eliminate all excuses for non-performance. Implementation requires both structure and accountability. Schedule your new habit at a specific time, anchored to an existing routine. Create environmental triggers that question the behavior automatically. Remove friction that might prevent action while adding barriers to competing behaviors. Consider tracking your consistency with a simple marking on a calendar, creating a visual chain you'll become reluctant to break. Remember that discipline isn't about perfection, but persistence. You will occasionally fail in your consistency. This is inevitable. The distinguishing factor between those who transform their lives through habits and those who remain unchanged is the speed with which they return to their positive routines after deviation. Don't allow a single missed day to become permission for abandonment. At its core, discipline represents a straightforward choice between immediate gratification and long-term fulfillment. Between what you want now and what you want most, this daily decision, made countless times in seemingly insignificant moments, ultimately determines who you become. Begin today. Select one keystone habit that, if practiced consistently, would create positive ripples throughout your life. Commit to its daily performance. As Aristotle observed, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Your future self will be shaped not by your intentions or occasional inspired actions, but by the quiet power of what you do consistently, day after ordinary day. Fourth, harnessing the power of auto-suggestion. Your mind operates on 2 distinct levels, the conscious and the subconscious. While your conscious mind engages in active reasoning and decision-making, Your subconscious functions as a powerful processing system that accepts and acts upon whatever information it receives repeatedly. Most remarkably, your subconscious cannot differentiate between actual experiences and vividly imagined ones, a principle that, when systematically applied, becomes a transformative tool for personal development. Thomas Bradley's extraordinary journey. Growing up in poverty with seemingly insurmountable barriers before him, he intuitively understood this mental principle. Rather than accepting external limitations, Bradley developed the practice of affirming his leadership capabilities daily. He would vividly imagine himself making decisive choices, speaking with authority, and serving his community with distinction. These weren't mere daydreams or escapist fantasies. They were deliberate programming sessions for his subconscious mind. This consistent mental rehearsal eventually manifested in reality, as he broke racial barriers to become Los Angeles' first African-American mayor, transforming his affirmed visions into tangible achievement. The science behind this process is compelling. Your subconscious mind, which controls approximately 95% of your behaviors and responses, continuously absorbs and processes information, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. When you repeatedly expose this powerful system to specific thoughts and images, especially those charged with emotion, it begins to accept them as reality. Once accepted, your subconscious works tirelessly, often without your conscious awareness, to bring your external circumstances into alignment with these internal beliefs. This principle explains why many ambitious individuals remain trapped in cycles of underachievement, despite their conscious desires for success. Their subconscious programming established through years of negative self-talk and limiting beliefs silently overrides their conscious intention. The solution isn't working harder within the same mental framework, but systematically reprogramming the subconscious beliefs that drive behavior. To harness this principle effectively, you must develop personalized affirmations that declare your goals as already accomplished. These statements must satisfy several criteria to maximize their effectiveness. First, phrase them in present tense. Your subconscious responds to immediacy, not future possibilities. Second, use positive language as your mind processes affirmative statements more readily than negation. Third, infuse your affirmations with genuine emotion, as feelings dramatically accelerate the acceptance process. Instead of saying, "I hope I won't fail at public speaking," affirm, "I am now speaking with increasing confidence and clarity that positively impacts my audience." Rather than, "I want to be wealthy someday," declare, "I am now attracting abundant financial opportunities that create increasing prosperity in my life." The distinction may seem subtle, but the psychological impact is profound. Implement this practice with disciplined consistency. Repeat your affirmations aloud each morning, immediately upon waking, and each evening before sleep, particularly during the 30 minutes before drifting off, when your subconscious is most receptive to new programming. As you speak these words, visualize the corresponding reality with all your senses engaged. See yourself performing confidently. Feel the emotions of accomplishment. Hear the congratulations of others. Over time, you'll notice subtle shifts in your perceptions, decisions, and actions. Opportunities previously overlooked will become apparent. Solutions to persistent problems will emerge unexpectedly. Your natural behaviors will increasingly align with your stated goals without conscious effort. The hallmark of successful subconscious reprogramming. Remember that this practice requires patience and persistence. Your current mental patterns developed over years of repetition. Their transformation demands equally consistent counter-programming. Trust the process, even when external evidence of change seems minimal. Your subconscious is already working to restructure your reality from the moment you begin this practice. Start today by crafting 3 personalized affirmations addressing your most important goals. Commit to their daily repetition for at least 30 days. This simple practice, sustained over time, will gradually reshape not only your beliefs, but your very experience of reality. 5. Transmuting obstacles into opportunities. Every obstacle you encounter carries within it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. This isn't mere positive thinking or wishful optimism. It's a fundamental principle of achievement that history's most accomplished individuals have consistently applied. Your response to adversity shapes your destiny far more powerfully than the adversity itself ever could. Mary Kay Ash, just 1 month before launching her cosmetics company, she suffered the devastating loss of her husband. For many, this tragedy would have provided ample justification to postpone or abandon their entrepreneurial dreams. Instead of viewing this profound loss as an insurmountable setback, Ash recognized it as an opportunity to demonstrate her resilience and determination. She proceeded with the company launch despite her personal grief, transforming potential defeat into the foundation of what would become an extraordinary business empire that provided economic opportunities for thousands of women worldwide. This capacity to extract opportunity from obstacles represents a distinguishing characteristic of exceptional achievers. When faced with setbacks that would cause others to surrender, they developed a mental discipline to ask, what is the valuable opportunity concealed within this challenge? This simple yet powerful question shifts your perspective from victim thinking to solution finding, from passive acceptance to active engagement with your circumstances. The most valuable benefits of adversity often emerge in the form of personal development. Each obstacle you overcome cultivates qualities within you that could not have been developed through any other means. The persistence required to continue despite discouragement, the creativity needed to solve seemingly insurmountable problems, the courage demanded to face uncertainty. These attributes become your most valuable assets applicable across all areas of your life. History consistently demonstrates this principle. Thomas Edison's thousands of unsuccessful attempts to create a functional light bulb weren't failures, but discoveries of approaches that wouldn't work. Each attempt refined his thinking and brought him closer to breakthrough. The Wright brothers' numerous crashes and rebuilds weren't setbacks, but essential data-gathering experiences that ultimately enabled human flight. Helen Keller's sensory limitations weren't restrictions, but catalysts that developed her extraordinary capacity to inspire millions. When you encounter resistance, your immediate reaction creates a decisive fork in your path. Most people respond with frustration, complaint, or resignation, unconsciously training their minds to perceive obstacles as punishment rather than challenge. By consciously choosing to seek the opportunity within each problem, you develop a mental orientation that consistently transforms adversity into advantage. This perspective shift becomes most powerful during your most difficult circumstances. Major setbacks, whether professional disappointments, financial losses, relationship challenges, or health crises, create the conditions for your greatest growth. Just as diamonds form only under tremendous pressure, your most meaningful achievements and profound personal development will likely emerge from your most challenging experiences. Implementing this principle requires deliberate practice until it becomes your automatic response. When facing adversity, immediately ask yourself these questions. What valuable lesson can I extract from this situation? How might this challenge be preparing me for greater opportunities? What strength am I developing through this experience that will serve me later? These questions redirect your mental and emotional energy from resistance to receptivity. Remember that history's most accomplished individuals rarely enjoyed smooth, obstacle-free paths to achievement. Rather, their greatness emerged directly from their capacity to transform adversity into advantage. Churchill's leadership brilliance developed through political wilderness years. Gandhi's moral authority grew through imprisonment. Maya Angelou's powerful voice emerged from profound personal trauma. In each case, what appeared as devastating setback became the essential foundation for extraordinary contribution. Your obstacles aren't punishment, but preparation. They aren't blocking your path, but forming your path. Each challenge you face represents not just a problem to solve, but an opportunity to develop capacities that will serve your highest purpose. By embracing rather than resisting your difficulties, you transform what might have defeated you into the very foundation of your most meaningful achievements. 6. The mastermind principle. No significant achievement throughout history has ever been the product of a single mind working in isolation. Behind every remarkable success story lies the powerful principle of minds working together in perfect harmony toward a shared vision. This mastermind concept isn't simply about collaboration. It represents a multiplication of intellectual and creative capacity that exponentially expands what's possible. When two or more minds unite with absolute focus on a common objective, they create what can only be described as a third mind. an intelligence greater than the sum of its individual parts. This collective consciousness accesses knowledge, experiences, perspectives, and insights far beyond what any single person could generate alone, regardless of their individual brilliance. Ray Kroc's extraordinary journey in building the McDonald's empire. While Kroc possessed remarkable business acumen and visionary thinking, he intuitively understood that his ambitious goals required more than his individual capabilities. Rather than attempting to compensate for his limitations through sheer determination, he strategically aligned himself with individuals possessing complementary strengths, financial experts who understood capital structures, real estate specialists who could identify optimal locations, and systems engineers who could design scale operation. This wasn't mere delegation or traditional teamwork. Kroc created a true mastermind alliance, a unified consciousness devoted to a singular vision where each member's strengths compensated for others' weaknesses. Through this synergistic approach, he compressed into years what might have required decades of solitary effort. The McDonald's phenomenon demonstrates how the right minds working in harmony can create something far greater than any individual contribution. History repeatedly validates this principle. The Wright brothers combined mechanical intuition with methodical analysis to achieve flight. Disney's creative vision flourished through partnerships with operational experts like Roy Disney. Even Einstein, often portrayed as a solitary genius, regularly engaged with collaborators whose mathematical expertise complemented his conceptual brilliance. To harness this principle in your own endeavors, you must intentionally cultivate a mastermind group rather than waiting for beneficial associations to develop randomly. Begin by identifying individuals who share your fundamental values and commitment to growth, but bring different perspectives, knowledge bases, and natural ability. The most powerful masterminds often include people whose thinking challenges and complements your own, rather than merely reinforcing your existing viewpoints. Structure your mastermind with clear purpose and regular meetings. Whether weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, these gatherings must prioritize absolute candor and a spirit of perfect harmony, seemingly opposing qualities that form the paradoxical foundation of effective collective intelligence. Candor ensures that ideas receive rigorous examination without personal sensitivities limiting honest feedback, while harmony maintains a supportive environment necessary for creative risk-taking. The environment you create proves as important as the individuals you select. Establish ground rules that encourage both supportive encouragement and constructive challenge. Create spaces where participants feel safe sharing nascent ideas without premature judgment, while maintaining intellectual rigor that prevents groupthink. The goal is an atmosphere where everyone contributes freely while remaining focused on advancing collective understanding rather than individual recognition. Remember that a true mastermind transcends mere networking or accountability partnerships. The defining characteristic is the emergence of insights and solutions that no individual member could have generated independently. When functioning optimally, participants should regularly experience moments of revelation where collective thinking reveals possibilities previously unimagined. Through consistent application of this principle, you can accomplish more in 1 year than might otherwise require a lifetime of solitary effort. Your capabilities expand not through superhuman individual striving, but through the magnificent leverage of minds working in concert. Your limitations become irrelevant as others' strengths complement your weaknesses, creating a unified intelligence far greater than any single mind could achieve. Begin today by identifying potential mastermind participants whose abilities complement your own. Extend invitations with clear purpose and structure. Through this principle properly applied, you'll discover capabilities within yourself and your endeavors that would have remained forever dormant without the catalytic power of collective intelligence. Persistence, the sustained application of faith. Nothing in this world can substitute for persistence. Talent alone cannot guarantee achievement. Nothing is more common than gifted individuals who never fulfill their potential. Education by itself proves insufficient. We regularly encounter highly educated people who fail to translate knowledge into meaningful accomplishment. Persistence and determination stand as the truly omnipotent forces in human achievement. Developing this quality is as fundamental to success as oxygen is to life itself. Harlan Sanders. At 65, an age when most contemplate retirement, Sanders received his first Social Security check, a mere $105, and faced the stark reality of near bankruptcy. Instead of surrendering to circumstances, he placed unwavering faith in a chicken recipe he had perfected over years. Armed with nothing but this recipe and dogged determination, he traveled across America, cooking his chicken for restaurant owners in demonstration after demonstration. Legend recounts over 1,000 rejections before securing his first franchise agreement. This persistence, maintained through countless disappointments, eventually built Kentucky Fried Chicken into one of the world's most recognizable food service brands. Without Sanders' refusal to accept defeat, his recipe, however excellent, would have remained unknown to the world. This principle appears consistently throughout the lives of history's most accomplished individuals. Thomas Edison's thousands of unsuccessful attempts to create a practical light bulb weren't failures, but steps towards solution. Abraham Lincoln's political career featured numerous defeats before his presidency. You must internalize the fundamental truth that temporary defeat is not permanent failure. The natural path toward any worthy goal includes obstacles, setbacks, and periods of apparent stagnation. These challenges serve not as indicators to surrender, but as essential tests, testing grounds that eliminate the uncommitted. Most people abandon their pursuits at the first, second, or third obstacle, never realizing how close they stood to breakthrough. Often, the distance between giving up and spectacular success can be measured in days or even hours of continued effort. Developing persistence requires specific mental disciplines. First, maintain absolute clarity about your desired outcome, revisiting and reinforcing this vision daily. Vague aspirations produce half-hearted efforts that crumble under pressure. Second, establish a definite time frame during which you commit to persist without allowing doubt to undermine your resolve. Third, develop the habit of finishing what you start, regardless of initial enthusiasm or subsequent challenges. Each completed task, however small, strengthens your persistence muscle. Understand that persistence operates as a progressive force. Each obstacle overcome not only advances you toward your goal, but strengthens your capacity to face greater challenges. Like physical training that increases endurance through strategic stress, persistence grows through difficulty successfully navigated. Today's insurmountable barrier becomes tomorrow's stepping stone when approached with unwavering determination. The relationship between persistence and achievement parallels that between carbon and steel. Just as carbon transforms ordinary iron into extraordinarily resilient steel, persistence converts ordinary effort into extraordinary achievement. Without sufficient carbon content, steel lacks the strength for demanding applications. Similarly, without persistence, talent and knowledge remain raw materials never forged into meaningful accomplishment. Remember that persistence often works invisibly before producing visible results. Like water gradually eroding stone, consistent effort applied to a specific objective inevitably creates breakthrough. The timing may prove unpredictable, but the outcome remains certain for those who refuse to surrender. Many who appear overnight successes actually represent persistence, finally bearing fruit after years of unwitnessed system effort, the law of increasing returns. This fundamental law states that continued application of effort yields disproportionately greater results over time. Most people fall short of their goals not because of lack of ability, but because they fundamentally misunderstand this principle. They underestimate how much consistent effort is required at the beginning of any worthwhile endeavor, while simultaneously overestimating how much effort will be needed once momentum has been established. This principle manifested powerfully in Jesse Owens' athletic development. During his early training months, Owens experienced minimal visible improvement, despite pouring maximum effort into his regimen. Each grueling practice seemed to produce only incremental gains at best. Many would have grown discouraged interpreting this apparent plateau as evidence of limited potential. Owens, however, understood that the greatest results emerge only after pushing through the point where most competitors abandon their efforts. His unwavering commitment through this critical phase eventually created unstoppable momentum, transforming him into one of the greatest athletes of his era. This culminated in his historic performance at the 1936 Olympics, where he achieved what many considered impossible on the world stage, shattering both records and racial stereotypes. The law of increasing returns operates across every worthwhile human endeavor. The novelist faces hundreds of blank pages before a manuscript takes shape. The entrepreneur endures months or years of effort before achieving profitability. The musician practices thousands of hours before mastery becomes evident. In each case, initial efforts appear disproportionately small compared to the results they produce. You must approach your goals with the patience and perspective of a farmer who plants in spring, cultivates through summer, and harvests in fall. The agricultural metaphor perfectly captures this principle's essential truth. When a farmer plants seeds, nothing visible happens for what can seem an interminable period. The soil appears barren despite the labor invested. During this crucial period when no results are apparent, the farmer must maintain faith and continue working with diligence, watering, weeding, and nurturing what cannot yet be seen. This planting phase proves most challenging psychologically. Human nature craves immediate feedback and visible progress. The absence of obvious results tempts many to abandon their efforts prematurely. Yet beneath the surface, critical development occurs that makes future growth possible. The seeds germinate, roots extend, and foundations establish, all invisible to the casual observer, but essential to eventual harvest. Eventually, with continued effort, you reach a tipping point where each unit of effort begins producing dramatically increased results. What previously required tremendous exertion now happens with relative ease. Opportunities multiply, momentum builds, and progress accelerates. This acceleration represents the law of increasing returns in full operation, the long-awaited harvest after faithful cultivation. Consider how this principle manifests in building a business. The entrepreneur typically invests months or years of effort before achieving profitability. During this initial isolation phase, each customer must be hard-won through considerable effort. Yet with continued application, systems improve, reputation grows, and referrals increase. Eventually, the same amount of effort that once produced a single customer now generates dozens. The entrepreneur hasn't necessarily worked harder. The law of increasing returns has simply begun operating at full capacity. Remember that the mighty oak spends years developing its extensive root system before its most significant vertical growth becomes visible. This underground development, though hidden from view, creates the foundation for centuries of towering growth. Similarly, your most important achievements require extensive foundation building that may remain invisible to others and sometimes even to yourself. This principle demands that you develop resilience against the psychological challenge of working without immediate validation. Establish metrics that track your inputs rather than outputs during early phases. Celebrate consistency of effort rather than magnitude of results. Surround yourself with others who understand this principle and can provide perspective during inevitable periods of doubt. Your ultimate success depends not on sporadic brilliance, but on your capacity to maintain consistent effort through the crucial period when results remain disproportionately small compared to your investment. Those who internalize and apply the law of increasing returns transform ordinary persistence into extraordinary achievement. 9. The creative power of specialized knowledge, general knowledge, regardless of its breadth, provides minimal value in the pursuit of significant achievement or wealth accumulation. The individual who becomes highly specialized in a particular domain and continuously deepens their expertise transforms themselves into an indispensable resource. This specialized knowledge, when combined with practical implementation, becomes one of your most valuable and marketable assets in an increasingly complex world. Katherine Johnson's remarkable journey. During an era when opportunities were severely restricted for both women and African Americans, Katherine Johnson developed specialized mathematical knowledge that eventually rendered her irreplaceable to America's space program. Her computational skills became so trusted that even after electronic computers were introduced at NASA, engineers would request that she personally verify the machine's calculations before proceeding with critical missions. John Glenn famously insisted that Katherine Johnson check the computer's orbital calculations for his historic Friendship 7 mission, declaring he would only fly if she confirmed their accuracy. Her specialized knowledge literally helped propel humanity beyond Earth's atmosphere and into the cosmos. Katherine Johnson's story illustrates a fundamental principle. Specialized knowledge creates unique value that transcends ordinary barriers. While general intelligence and broad education provide a foundation, it is the deep mastery of specific domains that creates extraordinary opportunity. This principle operates across all fields, whether science, business, arts, or trade. You must carefully determine what specialized knowledge your definite purpose requires, then commit to a lifelong program of acquiring and implementing that knowledge. This commitment doesn't necessarily demand formal education, though that path may sometimes prove valuable. More essentially, it requires dedicated study and practical application within your chosen field. The most valuable specialized knowledge often exists at the intersection of multiple disciplines or in emerging areas where traditional education hasn't yet established comprehensive curriculum. Begin by immersing yourself completely in your field. Read industry publications voraciously, not merely for casual information, but with the intention of identifying patterns and principles others might miss. Attend specialized seminars and conferences where cutting-edge developments are shared. Seek mentorship from recognized experts who have already mastered what you aim to learn. Join professional organizations where specialized knowledge is exchanged and refined through peer interaction. Most critically, apply what you learn through direct experience. Knowledge gathered but never implemented remains theoretical and generates limited value. The most successful individuals are rarely those with the greatest amount of information, but rather those who most effectively apply specialized knowledge to solve meaningful problems. Implementation transforms information into wisdom and creates the empirical understanding that distinguishes true experts from mere theoreticians. Develop the habit of continuous learning in your specialty. Fields evolve rapidly, and yesterday's expertise can quickly become today's obsolescent. Dedicate specific time each week to expanding your specialized knowledge, treating this investment with the same seriousness you would give to any critical business function. The most valuable specialists maintain their position through constant advancement rather than resting on established expertise. Remember that specialized knowledge becomes exponentially more valuable when it solves significant problems. Focus your learning on areas where substantial challenges exist, as these represent the greatest opportunities for applying specialized knowledge profitably. The market rewards solutions, not merely information. The specialist who can translate their expertise into tangible outcomes, whether increased efficiency, innovative products, or breakthrough methodology, commands premium compensation. The pursuit of specialized knowledge also provides psychological benefits beyond monetary rewards. Mastery of a specific domain creates a sense of purpose and competence that general knowledge rarely provides. As your expertise deepens, you experience the satisfaction of seeing connections and possibilities invisible to others. This expanded perception creates opportunities for creative contribution that extend far beyond merely executing established practices. Begin today by assessing your current knowledge base against the requirements of your definite purpose. Identify the most critical knowledge gaps separating you from excellence in your chosen field. Develop a systematic plan for acquiring the specialized knowledge through both study and practical application. Remember that specialized knowledge combined with dedicated implementation creates value that cannot be readily replaced, making you not merely employable, but truly indispensable. Faith, the starting point of all achievement. Faith stands as the eternal gateway through which infinite power flows into your daily experiences. Without this essential element, all other principles of achievement become mere mechanical techniques devoid of transformative power. Faith represents not wishful thinking or blind hope, but a definite state of mind that can be deliberately cultivated through consistent affirmation and vivid visualization until it becomes your dominant thought pattern. The remarkable career of Muhammad Ali powerfully illustrates this principle. Long before his physical skills fully developed, his unwavering faith declared, "I am the greatest." Even when facing opponents who appeared objectively superior or facing circumstances that seemed insurmountable, his absolute faith in his abilities translated into corresponding physical capability. This wasn't mere promotional showmanship, as many assumed. It represented the practical application of faith as a fundamental principle of achievement. Muhammad Ali understood that his mind would direct his body according to its deepest convictions. and he consciously programmed those convictions through bold declarations of faith. This same principle operates in every field of human endeavor. The entrepreneur who maintains unshakable faith in their vision attracts necessary resources despite initial setbacks. The scientist who believes a solution exists continues experimenting after others abandon their effort. The artist who trusts their creative intuition produces original work when convention suggests otherwise. In each case, faith creates the psychological foundation that sustains effort until tangible results materialize. You must nurture your faith daily through careful attention to your thoughts and words. The mind cannot simultaneously harbor contradictory beliefs. Doubt and fear cannot coexist in the same consciousness as faith and courage. One will inevitably displace the other. Every thought you entertain either strengthens your faith or diminishes it. This reality demands vigilant mental discipline, particularly during challenging circumstances when doubt naturally arises. Begin cultivating greater faith by acting as though your success is already guaranteed. Make decisions from this position of faith rather than fear. When faced with uncertainty, ask yourself, what action would I take if I were absolutely certain of success? Then proceed accordingly. This practice aligns your behaviors with your aspirations rather than your apprehensions, creating momentum that gradually transforms theoretical faith into experiential knowing. Speak confidently of your plans as though they were already accomplished. Language reflects your internal convictions while simultaneously reinforcing them. Notice how often ordinary conversation contains qualifiers that betray uncertainty. I'll try. I hope if things work out. Replace these with declarations of certainty. I will, I am when this succeeds. This linguistic shift might seem superficial initially, but words powerfully program your subconscious mind, which ultimately determines your actions. Visualize your desired outcomes with emotional intensity until they become more real to your subconscious than present circumstances. The human nervous system cannot distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and actual events. By repeatedly immersing yourself in detailed mental images of success, you create neural patterns that your mind accepts as reality, gradually aligning your behaviors and perceptions with these internal blueprints. Step by step through this deliberate mental conditioning, you'll find your faith growing stronger as evidence of its power manifests in your life. Initial small successes build confidence for greater challenges. Obstacles that once appeared insurmountable become merely problems to be solved. Opportunities previously invisible become readily apparent. This progressive strengthening of faith creates an upward spiral of achievement that continues expanding as your convictions deepen. Remember that faith forms the foundation upon which all your efforts must be built. Without it, even the most perfect plan will fail with it. Even imperfect plans often succeed. Historical achievements, once considered impossible, from flight to instant global communication, were first conceived through faith before being translated into physical reality. Your own greatest contributions will likewise emerge not from what seems presently possible, but from what you unshakably believe to be achievable. Begin today by identifying one area where doubt has limited your actions. Make a conscious decision to act with faith in that specific domain for the next 30 days. Watch carefully as this shift in consciousness gradually transforms not just your results, but your entire experience of reality.